Africa has stood against Western exploitation, a stance the U.S. never saw coming. The continent is boldly demanding an end to its exploitation. This newfound courage has been fueled by China, which has emboldened Africa to take the long-desired steps it always yearned for. The transformation is remarkable. Africa is rapidly emerging as a new powerhouse. It's ending its ties with the U.S., stepping into the arena of competition. This shift poses a significant threat to the West, as losing control over this resource-rich region would be a massive blow. The West finds itself powerless in the face of this changing dynamic. So how did such a monumental shift occur? Let's find out. Welcome back to another exciting episode of our channel. Innovation Diary brings you China's innovation stories, projects, and growing influence in different parts of the world. If you are new to the channel and enjoy learning about fast-paced modernity, especially China's development and growing power, you will find our videos intriguing. In this video, we uncover the reasons behind Africa's evolving stance towards the U.S. We will also discover how China's influence has empowered the continent. Make sure to watch until the very end to know whether the U.S. can regain its dominion in this region. Recent years have cast a threat over the once promising relationship between the United States and Africa. The tenure of former President Donald Trump left a pathway of strained ties and missed opportunities, as U.S.-Africa relations survived rough storms. The repercussions of this era continue to ripple through the diplomatic sphere, raising the question, can the recent attempts to revive engagement under the leadership of U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken repair the relationship? The problem between the U.S. and Africa relations has always increased. The main issue was that the U.S. was on the taking end, and Africa was always on the giving end. It has always been exploited by the U.S., and in Trump's rule, things even got worse. Trump's decisions, such as withdrawing support from climate change funds targeted at Africa, highlighted a lack of commitment to issues crucial for the continent's sustainable development. Amidst the ground of strained relations, Antony Blinken's recent visit to Africa carried the promise of change. Blinken, the U.S. Secretary of State, announced a reboot in U.S. engagement, signaling a renewed effort to rebuild the bridges that had been eroded over time. This declaration acknowledged the vital role that Africa plays on the global stage and aimed to address the sense of neglect that had permeated previous interactions. For decades, Africa has been a region that's experienced exploitation from various global powers, particularly the United States. However, a new dawn is emerging on the continent as the age-old alliance founded on exploitation begins to crumble. The catalyst behind this transformation is none other than China, along with the support of Russia. In an era where geopolitical dynamics are undergoing profound shifts, Africa's choice to align with these nations signifies a significant departure from the past. The history of Africa's interaction with global powers has often been marred by exploitation, leaving scars that have taken time to heal. While the United States played a role in this historical exploitation, the winds of change are sweeping through the African continent. The traditional dynamics of dominance are being replaced with an alliance that holds promise for a more equitable partnership. But the U.S. efforts also continue. So, will the U.S. efforts work? The question that dominates is whether the U.S. efforts are too little or too late. The impacts of strained relations are not easily brushed aside, and the wounds of neglect take time to heal. Can Blinken's words translate into meaningful actions that steer the course towards flourishing ties, or will they remain as quick promises in a rapidly changing world? Efforts to revitalize U.S.-Africa relations must go beyond mere words. Concrete steps are needed to rebuild trust and demonstrate a genuine commitment to mutual prosperity. As Africa seeks economic growth, sustainable development, and a stronger global voice, it needs reliable partners who are invested in its success. But according to experts, Africa no longer wants to fix its relations with the U.S. The reason for this change in attitude is because of China and Russia. China and Africa's relations have gotten deep in the last few years, and the influence of China and Russia has increased in Africa. China's and Russia's growing influence in Africa isn't solely about expanding their global reach. It's also about offering an alternative to the exploitative relationships of the past. These two nations have positioned themselves as partners that genuinely prioritize Africa's development rather than seeking to extract its resources without fair compensation. This shift resonates deeply with African nations that have long sought a pathway to progress without compromising their sovereignty. One of the fundamental reasons for Africa's alignment with China and Russia lies in the approach to aid. Unlike previous relationships where assistance often came with strings attached, China and Russia have demonstrated a commitment to empowering Africa without ulterior motives. The aid they provide isn't just about economic investment, it's about building infrastructure, fostering education, and nurturing industries that will lead to sustainable growth. China has provided aid that has empowered Africa a great deal. China's ambitious Belt and Road Initiative has been a game changer for Africa. By investing in critical infrastructure projects such as roads, ports, and energy facilities, China is catalyzing economic development in a tangible and transformative way. These initiatives not only enhance Africa's connectivity, but also contribute to its self-reliance, reducing its dependence on exploitative relationships. Russia's engagement with Africa also centers on mutual respect and empowerment. By focusing on areas such as agriculture, energy, and technology, Russia aims to help African nations unlock their potential while preserving their sovereignty. This approach resonates with African leaders keen to collaborate with partners who value their autonomy and agency. Africa's alignment with China and Russia signifies a shift from historical exploitation to a new chapter of progress and partnership. While challenges undoubtedly remain, the course promises greater self-determination and economic empowerment. The continent is choosing collaboration over subjugation and development over stagnation. But will China and Russia be able to save Africa from future exploitation? Before we continue further, tell us, are you loving the video? If yes, please like and share the video and subscribe to our channel for more videos about China's development, power, and influence on the world. Let's continue now. The history of U.S. engagement with Africa has carved a complex narrative marked by exploitation elements. A new dynamic is painting a vibrant shade onto Africa's canvas. The alliance between China and Russia is reframing the narrative, setting a stage where empowerment overshadows exploitation. The core of this transformation lies in their approach to Africa's development. The U.S. has not consistently prioritized Africa's well-being in its foreign policy decisions. The continent's concerns have often taken a back seat, as evidenced by Trump's actions. His administration curtailed foreign aid to the region and overlooked critical issues such as health and food security. Moreover, the U.S. encouraged African nations to make divisive choices amid great power competition while keeping crucial resources and financing out of reach. These actions have raised doubts about America's genuine commitment to Africa's autonomy and development. The promise of Africa's inclusion in the Group of 20 and other economic groupings does little to address the core issue. Africa's development should not be based on U.S. approval. Past instances indicate that U.S. influence over financial institutions can hinder multi-billion-dollar assistance, imposing conditions that undermine true progress.